The fall of Rome in under 5 minutes.
At its height, the Roman Empire was the ancient world's top superpower. It reached from Britain's gray fields to the hot deserts of Mesopotamia, known for its laws, engineering, and military strength. But nothing lasts forever. Rome wasn't simply conquered. It crumbled from within, collapsing under its own size. Here's how the world's greatest empire fell apart in under 5 minutes.
The first cracks.
The end didn't start with a single big battle, but with a slow and painful decline. By the 3rd century AD, the empire had grown too large to manage. In 285 AD, Emperor Diocletian decided to split the empire in two. The eastern half, ruled from the rich city of Constantinople, lasted another 1,000 years. The western half, however, began a long decline. It was poorer, less stable, and suffered from a series of corrupt emperors who cared more about their own power than about ruling well.
Decades of civil war, out-of-control inflation, and back-breaking taxes weakened the empire's foundations. Then a huge military disaster struck. At the Battle of Adrianople in 378 AD, the so-called invincible Roman legions were defeated by Visigoth cavalry, and Emperor Valens was killed in battle. This loss showed that Rome could be beaten. So the empire began hiring barbarian mercenaries, known as foederati, to guard its borders. In the end, Rome was paying the same people who would later attack it. Rick, king of the Visigoths. Alaric wasn't some wild invader. He was a former Roman ally who had fought and bled for the empire. But Rome broke its promises of land and payment to his people, and his loyalty quickly turned to resentment. He was done being a pawn. After the Romans executed their own skilled general, Stilicho, who had kept Alaric under control, Alaric saw his chance. He led his army into Italy, not to destroy it, but to claim what he was promised. He besieged Rome twice, first agreeing to leave if he received a large ransom. But Emperor Honorius, who was hiding in his fortress in Ravenna, refused to negotiate fairly. Eventually, Alaric lost patience. The unthinkable happens. On August 24th, 410 AD, something shocking happened. For the first time in almost 800 years, an enemy army entered Rome. Alaric's Visigoths flooded into the city and spent 3 days taking its treasures. By the harsh standards of the time, the sack was actually limited. There was no mass killing, and Alaric, who was a Christian, told his men to spare the churches. But the real damage was not to buildings, but to people's minds. The news shocked the world. The scholar, St. Jerome, who heard about it in Bethlehem, wrote, "The city which had taken the whole world was itself taken." The idea that Rome could never fall was gone for good. A slow, painful death.
The sack of Rome in 410 was only the start of the end. The empire kept losing land, including its richest provinces like Britain, Gaul, and Hispania to other tribes. The Vandals, another Germanic group, attacked Rome again in 455 AD and were much harsher, taking the city's wealth over 2 weeks. Rome was sacked yet again in 472 by the general Ricimer. By this time, the Roman army was mostly made up of barbarian soldiers who had no loyalty to Rome. They could not stop the decline. The Western Roman Empire was now just a shell, an empire only in name.
The final whimper.
The end was not dramatic, but quiet and almost routine. In 475 AD, a boy named Romulus Augustulus became emperor. Ironically, he shared a name with Rome's legendary founder and first emperor, but he had no real power. He ruled for less than a year. A Germanic leader named Odoacer led a revolt of foederati who had once again been denied land in Italy. On September 4th, 476 AD, Odoacer marched on Ravenna and removed the young emperor. There was no big battle or last stand. Odoacer let the boy live and sent him to a country villa with a pension. Then he sent the imperial robes to the emperor in Constantinople, making it clear that the West no longer needed an emperor. Rome did not fall in one day. It slowly collapsed due to political corruption, economic problems, overexpansion, and constant invasions. The fall in 476 AD was simply when people realized the empire had already ended. Even though its power in the West had faded, Rome's language, laws, and ideas became the foundation of the new world that followed. If you like this quick look at history, please like the video, subscribe for more stories, and let us know in the comments what part of history you want us to cover next. Thanks for watching.